Hey guys, Thunder E here, and welcome to episode 4 of Comic Crunch. Now, if you guys probably noticed, there was no show last week, and there was no weekly last week. Well, it's because I currently have a copyright strike, which thankfully is going to be vacating really soon, so things will be back to normal next week. But this is a pre-recorded show, and of course, I have with me one and only Lou Rod. How's it going, man?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm happy that I'm finally solved this. So we're recording this on Skype. This is a trip because we could probably spend like half the show describing the whole process trying to record this using the software and realizing it was only trial and all that stuff. But anyway, let's get to the meat of the matter here. So I'm going to kind of breeze through a lot of things here because we've kind of spent, literally, we spent like 30 minutes already recording this show, even though it's not, ahead in time. So we start off with the first big news, I think, of this week is the fact that Joe Blow has been reporting that they do have news on what the next Batman solo movie will be, the one that's going to be most likely directed by Ben Affleck. And they said it's going to be based off the Red Hood animated cartoon or Death in the Family, which is the comic book that was also based off. So it might be a combination of both, but it's going to be based off that. And their take is that basically uh, Batman v Superman introduces the Joker. We see him in that magazine clip, and then it moves on to Suicide Squad where we get to see the Joker, but the mainstay for the Joker is actually under the Red Hood. If you haven't see it, I suggest you go see it. It's a really good animated comic. Also, just read the comic book Death in the Family, where Jason Todd is killed. Of course, we know that because that's in the comic book, and it looks like that's what's going to happen in Batman v Superman. And then, he comes back through the Lazarus pits. He becomes Red Hood, terrorizes Batman, and yeah. So, what are your thoughts?
Like I said earlier, I enjoyed the anime. It was a good, it's a good watch. And if that's the route that they're going with their first movie, bring it on. Try something that you know should work very well.
Ye-
And actually, it gives the audience a different take. It's not a damn the Joker again focal point. It gives you some Joker and Jason Todd. It's not a reboot of stupid shit.
Yeah, true. It does. It gives you that balance there where the Joker is involved, but it's only towards the end. I mean, if you haven't watched it, especially for the general audience, they would be shocked because, and I think it makes sense because if you show us the Robin costume hanging and there's all this stuff on there, people want to know more. Like, what the hell happened? You know. So if we can go from that and we see that there, then I think that will really go a long way in like putting this whole universe together. With different aspects in there. Another one which we didn't talk about, but of course I think it was Joe Blow also or somebody else. Basically, says they know the script idea, the storyline for Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman movie will take place in present day and not necessarily in the past. There will be flashback scenes in the past. The movie will have Ares and I forgot one of the other nemesis in there. Basically, what's happening is that Ares wants to start World War IV. Now, if you watched World War III, sorry, if you watched the Wonder Woman animated movie, it is technically almost the same thing. So,
So what the hell? They're using the animes as well. Looks like the Suicide Squad movie is
yeah,
Attack on
Arkham, yeah,
Arkham.
yeah, and
So
it's
hey,
it's a
it's safe.
smart, wise, safe bet. So, moral of the story here is if you don't want to know what all the next movies are from, go watch all the animated movies from DC, and
Get some idea.
you probably get some idea. The other thing about that is that they said that in this one, that Batman will actually show up in the Wonder Woman movie, and then you realize why there's a connection with them in Batman v Superman because he's been investigating. I mean, Batman investigates a lot of stuff, so Batman is the focal point connecting everybody because of who he is, and him being the detective there. So that's that on the movie, and I'm gonna run through some of the TV show stuff again because we've gone through most of this. Uh, um, Gotham cast Hugo Strange, and it's the actor B.D. Wong who was in Law and Order as the psychiatrist, and also in Jurassic World. If you never watched Law and Order, like Lou Rod, he says he's never watched it.
And
uh,
they also casted Victor Freeze's wife.
yes, Victory's Wives, which is Linda Hill. Um, AMC renewed Walking Dead for another season. Not to be unexpected, it's the number one show in the US. We'll talk about that very soon. Um, what else again? Power Rangers cast a Yellow Ranger, Becky Gomez, who was in Empire, as you mentioned, two
Yeah.
episodes. They've also cast the other Rangers, RJ Seiler for Blue Ranger, Ludi Lin is cast as Black Ranger, Darcy Montgomery is Red Ranger, and Naomi Scott is Pink. So, and the budget, as you mentioned, was 35 million. So it's a low budget. I think
Should be good for that movie.
should be good for that movie. Yeah, Alien 5 is on hold because of Prometheus 2. Now, I think this is a mix between hold and I think it's because Chappie didn't do well, which was his last movie, and
Hmm.
studio's a little tentative. So when Ridley Scott came back and said he wants to do Prometheus 2 and he did the pitch, they were like, "Oh, okay, fine. Ridley, go ahead."
Yeah, but he also did play a factor in getting that movie put on hold.
Yes, he did. He wanted his movie up first too. That's
Which, hey, you're the creator. Do what you got to
They
do.
do, yeah. So, but I mean, from the sounds of Prometheus, it looks like at least he's gonna solve some of the things and just basically put it the way it should be. It's as in, hey, this is a prequel to the Aliens. This is called what it is, and be done.
I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
Visually, it looked good. The story was okay, but it is what it is. It's a good sci-fi movie.
Yeah. Also says that Mantis will be in Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy. I said Galaxy of the Guardians. I was about to say that. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So that's a character that I don't know too well. They're casting an Asian actress in there. Let me see what her name is. Deadline says blah 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 blah. I can't read while I'm doing the show at the same time, so I don't know. Whatever. Um, Her last name is Clementieff, I believe.
Don't know. Some
Uh,
Asian woman.
Let me see if I can share my screen. Let me not overdo this now, because this is this is combining technology. No, it won't work. It won't work.
But the big news was that Matthew McConaughey did not turn down a villain role in a Marvel movie for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yes, that was the big rumor. Big news. Do you know why?
It's a villain. Villains don't last long.
Not it's That's one, but that's not even I don't think that's the main thing. I think it's because Marvel has terrible villains.
I
Think
don't
about
think
it.
they
No,
don't
no.
have the
I mean,
terrible villains. They use the villains terribly.
yes, it's not going to change. And Matthew McConaughey either wants to be the villain that he knows he's going to ace, be well known for a while, or see Matthew McConaughey. Um, I would love him to do a DC villain because I think that's where you would stay and people will remember you as a villain. I mean, even though we only have Man of Steel and General Zod wasn't too complex, but people know, okay, this is what he did. Unlike all the other villains in Marvel, where it's other than Loki, not because of what Loki did, because Loki was so entertaining as a character. But we didn't really look at Loki as a bad guy. It's not like Darth Vader or some of the bad villains. You're like, ooh, man, I don't want to see that guy.
Loki is the anti-hero. He can be good one minute, bad the next.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where Loki falls. So it's not the quintessential good villain you want to get. Um, Del Toro says that Pacific Rim is the script is finalized and he has a budget for it. But we're talking about that. We're like, yeah, that might not work. But the original movie made over $400 million. Most of that 400 was overseas. So I suggest if they want to do it, skew it to an international market, and call it a day. And cut that budget. If you can cut that budget down to 125 million,
I doubt he'll do it. I doubt he'll cut it back to 125. I mean, everything is already set up for him.
yeah,
There's not much that he needs to add, so maybe. But then maybe this movie doesn't get greenlit till after the King Kong and Godzilla's come out and they see how well those do.
yeah, maybe. Um, David Ayers says that Suicide Squad is comic book movie 2.0 because he's been calling out a lot of shit stuff and calling out Marvel and uh, basically he came out and said that his process that while they were shooting Batman v Superman, he came over and he pitched Suicide Squad. And if he did it while they were shooting, that's a quick turnaround to actually greenlight a movie and say go ahead. But I don't know. Did you see his comments and what were your thoughts on that?
I didn't see the comments, but hey, whatever. Suicide Squad is Attack on Arkham. Let's go with it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, DC has found their little magic that no one has seemed to catch on yet. So, oh yeah, I wanted to ask you, what did you think of Jessica Jones trailer? Jessica Jones trailer.
It. I wasn't too interested in this series. I was gonna watch it regardless, but after watching the trailer, I'm more intrigued because that villain there had the police department holding guns to their head.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, I was more intrigued in watching it, so which is good. We do know that Daredevil will show up. Still hoping to see
Is it
Iron Fist.
Daredevil or is it just Matt
Matt,
Murdock?
Matt Murdock might show. Who knows? He might show up as Daredevil. But I would love to see Iron Fist somehow show up, man, because it would be great to have him there and have him now be in. I mean, we did see Power Man, Luke Cage. So I mean, we see that. But anyway, let's get to the shows. Let's move on to the meat of the matter. Starting off with Sunday.
Before we do that, we didn't discuss the Star Wars trailer
Oh snap! Oh yeah,
since we
okay.
weren't here last week.
Yes, yes, yes.
But
Um, that was a
I'm ready.
yes. That was a very very good trailer. Um, didn't spoil anything. Again, didn't show you much. And you know what? Uh, to be honest, it was not the trailer. To me, I sat down afterwards and analyzed it. Even though I really liked the trailer. It's just John Williams music.
It
I,
wasn't his music.
no, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Whose score was that?
It was someone else's score, but it wasn't John Williams.
Are you
John,
sure?
I'm dead positive. They talked about it last week on an episode of Movie Talk because even they thought it was John
I mean,
Williams'
it sounds
score.
like a Star Wars score anyway.
Oh, it's a Star Wars score, but it wasn't John Williams because John Williams is busy doing the movie score. He's still not finished.
Oh wow. Okay.
What they did was they took a little bit of his old score and mashed it up, but it was someone else who
Oh,
did
who
the
did that mashup? Okay, but
who
I was gonna say
finished the score.
I was gonna say as like, but it still was the core Star Wars score that we know.
And did you find it a big deal that you didn't see no Luke?
No, I didn't because Luke is the balance to the Force. That's what Anakin. When they thought Anakin was the balance, when Yoda said that, right? It was not Anakin. It was his offspring. That's the balance to the Force. And that's Luke. Luke is, I think, if you go with some of the old material and the novels, Luke is the most powerful Jedi, Force user now. He can go either way, which is why he has secluded himself from everyone.
Yeah,
So I don't see it as being too much because the way the story is they're all trying to find Luke because he holds Darth Vader's lightsaber. That's
well,
why.
I'm hearing that Kylo Ren has his Darth Vader's lightsaber.
No, he doesn't have it. He's trying to get it because that's for his sect. They follow Darth Vader, not necessarily the Emperor themselves.
That Darth Vader's a bad man.
So basically, his lightsaber is like getting like the Holy Grail or something like that. That I mean that's pretty much it. And then you throw in the fact that John Boyega is kind of like that. It has to be the balance in the mix. There always has to be a balance because if you look at it, it's if it was just Luke and Kylo, that's an off balance because Luke can switch.
Yeah,
Kylo
but
is
my theory there is he's training Daisy in episode 8. He's not training Boyega.
no, he's training. He's going to train Boyega and Daisy.
I don't know because the only one who was on set on what's probably going to be known as the New Jedi Temple was Daisy and Luke filming in Ireland.
Oh, is he? I'm telling you, Boyega is the path forward for this franchise. He is.
Hey, I'm not going to argue. I'm
He-
just waiting for December 18th.
exactly. All right. So, all right, we could go on that trailer, but moving on to TV shows. Sunday, Walking Dead. I finally caught up. I watched all 3 episodes. First of all, some of these people are just dumb. I mean, I'm tired of people not understanding that there are zombies there and there are people who want to kill you. I mean, people in that, you know what? I get it. I mean, that was like the proper wake up call that Rick was trying to tell them.
Yep.
You know, and I don't get it. I mean, like,
Uh, we didn't have a show last week. The wolves that were inside that compound, the guy just cutting people up, he is a sick fuck.
yeah. And then what's his name was like, what's the black dude again with the stick? What's his name?
Morgan,
Morgan's like, yeah, we don't have to kill them. I was like,
are you stupid?
it's like, are you serious, Morgan? And what did he cause? Right? He let the guy go. The guy comes in to chase Rick down in this episode
Yeah.
in the trailer.
Oh, but let's be real. That whole scene lasted 2 minutes because
Oh, Rick,
he opens up the door and all he does is start bucking and doesn't hit no one. Rick gets the upper hand on him, and then the other one comes and grabs him from the back. It's like, do you guys realize who y'all messing with?
I know,
This
right?
man's gonna take you out in less than a minute.
Yeah, but
And then Rick went what I call the best Rambo moment ever.
oh man, no, I mean it was one of those episodes where, as the last episode, episode 3, where you saw you saw how, and I agree to some degree, it's part of human emotion. But to me personally, I'm one of those people who are like, look, if I see this happening, my brain switches, and your brain should switch that this is not normal. Nothing is going to be normal.
You know, and Carl hesitated in this episode. Well, last week's episode. No, yeah, last week's. Carl from the street, when they were out there, he ain't hesitate to kill nobody.
Yeah, but he said it himself. Remember when Carl said we're getting soft here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's the truth. He
He
did.
got a little soft. Not not Terminator Carol.
Oh no, no, I can see why, because I remember my Facebook was blowing up like in Carol We Trust, man. She just went put a W in her head, just like pa pa pa. I was like, man, no wonder she is technically second in command. Like literally, the way the hierarchy is in the TV show is, man, when Rick talks, you all just need to back up a second. Michonne is the official number 2. Carol is the unofficial number 2. Because he knows he knows, like, that's why he's like, oh, they gotta survive. Basically in his mind, he's like, because Carol's there, I know she's gonna handle her business, and everybody else, and and I know my son at least can handle himself. But
Yeah.
it's just crazy, man.
Like last week's episode was really good. And then episode 3 was great all the way up until we came up with the theory that Nick had some type of PSTD,
Yes, PTSD.
PTSD, and let's be real, the Alex. I already knew there was going to be a bunch of deaths, and it figured that it would be everyone from Alexandria because they were all stupid.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, you got to trim down the cast anyway.
But I don't trust Rick. The next thing you know, you turn around and he's getting his throat bit off. Dumbass. We came up with a theory. If you talk bad about Rick, you're gonna die.
Pretty much.
Morgan, I feel sorry for you because you're probably next.
Now, Morgan's going to be a little bit. Now, but let's talk about the end of the episode because we got to go to the other shows. But so, what's his name again? The guy who was standing with
Nick,
Nick. Yeah. So Nick and oh my God, I just forgot his name now.
Glenn.
Glenn. Thank you. Nick and Glenn are standing on top of a dumpster. There's zombies all around, and he's trying to get Nick's attention, and Nick is just like out, and he's like, "Thank you," and he just goes, and I see what he was trying to do. I knew what he was trying to do. Like when I was watching it, I was like, he's either gonna jump. At first, I thought he was gonna shoot himself, but I forgot he still had a gun, or I thought he was out of bullets. And then I was like, he's probably gonna jump in so that the zombies will bite, and then he can probably like jump off somewhere else. That's what I was thinking. But then when he shot him and he fell on Glenn, I was a little pissed at Glenn for a second though.
For catching him.
Yeah,
I would have like, woo!
catch
Okay,
like this.
sorry.
Woo! I was like, yo, Glenn, man, come on. You're getting too soft. And they fall down, and we see guts, and we see Glenn
Hollering.
hollering. Yes. So, I mean, we talked about this before we started. You said that Glenn isn't dead.
No, I've seen confirmation, and everybody's speculating. Oh no, it's going to be flashbacks. There's no point to have Glenn
I
alive
understand.
flashbacks when you could just use old footage in flashbacks. 'Cause that's what most TV shows use anyway.
The other thing too is that the last scene of that episode was not Glenn dying, or the lead up to it was actually Rick in the caravan. So when Homeboy died, Malcolm in the Middle, when he died, even though he didn't die at the end of the episode, it was that, and it was the continued lead up of why he died. It was him chasing Nick down and all that stuff. It was a process. Usually, when a character like Glenn is one of the original characters, right, on the show, when he dies, it's even it's gotta take a certain moment in time for you to soak it up.
When Glenn dies, and if it goes the way I hope it goes, it's going to be memorable.
Yeah. So I don't think Glenn's dead. I agree with you, but we'll leave it at that for
Well, it's going to be, unfortunately, we won't find out till
season.
episode 5.
Oh, if Glenn is dead.
Yeah, because next week's episode is 90 minutes of seriously of Morgan. Why?
Yeah.
I don't need 90 minutes of Morgan's backstory. Okay, you want to give me Morgan's backstory? Okay, just give it to me in a regular 42-minute format. I don't need an extra 115 minutes of him.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, moving on to Monday's show, Agents of Shield.
That's Tuesday.
What's on Monday then?
We'll be Supergirl.
Oh, we super. Oh, let's talk a little Supergirl. Did you see it?
I watched it a few months back when they released it.
Yeah.
I watched it. It's a little campy, but you know what? I didn't mind it because it kind of reminded me of Smallville.
I I I nicked it a lot, and I hopefully it improves. The reason why is that if you just look at the Flash, even look at Arrow, first two seasons of Arrow. This third season is now getting better. I think in Arrow we'll get to Arrow, but the first two seasons of Arrow, The Flash, that should be your template of how. I don't care what your storyline is, but the way it's done. That first was episode was so pilot episode feel that it didn't need to be because this is made by the same guys who make Arrow and
And
The Flash.
Flash.
So that's why I was very disappointed with it because when they did The Flash, it literally felt like it was mid-season. That first episode felt like it was a mid-season episode.
Well, but their thing probably was why they did what they did, putting it out so early, was to hear the feedback and the reaction, and then go forward from there.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
Because
Supergirl Supergirl is in a world where there's only one superhero, Superman. That's what the producer said. It takes place in the Christopher Reeve Superman universe.
was it Christopher Reeve? I thought it was the one Brian Singer did.
No, no, no. The it takes place from the original Christopher Reeve Superman universe,
Okay.
not Superman Returns. So this is from that point. That's where the story is taking off. And I don't like the whole idea that Superman doesn't show up, that he has to use Jimmy Olsen to talk to his cousin. It's a little too contrived for me when he can fly to her city in a second and she can fly to his city in another second. Like that kind of thing. Um, it's fine that you want to do some separations. They just needed to find a better way for me. And I really didn't like her sister in the pilot episode. Pissed me off. Because her sister, for some reason, has this power to treat her like a little girl. When your younger sister in age, or whatever the case may be, will break you with like this, her finger. and her younger sister is only the only person who's stronger than her is her cousin. That's it. So I didn't like that. I don't know. What did you think of that dynamic?
I don't know much of the dynamic, to be honest. I just watched the episode. I found it to be a little cheesy, but I was like, okay, you know what? I'll give it the 5 episode minimum and see where it goes. Hopefully, episode 2 picks up. It ended kind of strong. The effects weren't bad. At least she didn't have to wait damn near 10 goddamn seasons.
Yeah, true. That's very true. So
So it's like it's I'll give you your chance, but if you can't keep my interest, because I gave Gotham 3 episodes and I was done.
yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. Next one, Agents of Shield, Tuesday.
Yes,
Yes. Um, that's the best episode of the season so far.
I feel sorry for Fitz.
I do. I do.
I mean, this poor guy. He loves him some Gemma, and Gemma went. Granted, her circumstances were, she's
Yeah,
on a
you can't.
on a distant planet, and she got lonely. But damn it, couldn't you go out to your little lagoon lake and freshen up?
I mean, it's true, but to me, I like the episode because it showed me that she didn't do it all by herself. It,
Yeah,
because like there was no way, and there was somebody else. I like the fact that they introduced that NASA had this before, and it's making me think that I don't think this is necessarily Kree anymore.
the thing with the NASA, he clearly stated that NASA didn't fund them. It was a private organization. The question is, who? Was it
Exactly.
Shield? Was it the
Hi,
AATU? Whoever the hell, Hydra?
Hydra Virgia portion of it, exactly. So, I,
But the episode was strong. My only gripe, seriously, I need Fish to hook up my Nexus with that battery life.
dude, I know, man. I was like, whoa, are you serious? I was like, we know, because I was like, when is her battery? She has a regular iPhone 6. Knowing me very well, I was like, that battery's gonna die really, really quick. And she's like, Fitz hooked it up somewhere. I was like, all right, fine, I'll buy the bullshit, but at least you told me somebody messed with it.
Because she was taking videos. She kept
Voice
showing Fitch's
recording.
picture.
Oh my
You
god.
know, Fitch became her Wilson for a while.
Yeah, tell me about it. Quick one, guys, if you're watching it because it's pre-recorded. The software now has three screens, one of Lou and two of me. And one of me is only moving, the other one's stationary. So it is what it is.
As long as we're still recording.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it really was a good episode. I liked it. It was strong and it really focused on like I hope that's not Kree. I hope that's either that doesn't have to do with the Kree necessarily. Maybe it's another race because that would give them an opportunity to. Remember how we talked about them having their own storyline? Because if they can have it as another race that's not necessarily Kree but it's related
Well,
to Kree, I would be happy with that.
what we came up with the other night was maybe the theory is they're running with it's Helheim and that's death. But I don't see Agents of Shield incorporating death.
No, no, it's not. Marvel does not do any supernatural until Doctor Strange comes, and I will see how they figure that one out. But right now, there's no supernatural in any of the Marvel stuff at all.
So
Yeah.
that was the theory. I don't care.
Hmm.
Next week we got to deal with Ward and his bullshit. Whatever.
All right. Moving on to the other Tuesday show, The Flash. What do you think of this episode?
I I enjoyed the hell out of this episode. This episode was cheesy, campy, and fun.
I agree. It was a little slower for me. I don't know why it was slower. I wouldn't necessarily say it was slower, but I like the fact that again, what's her name again? Iris. Iris didn't just soak up her mom's bullshit. You know, she's like, I'm a reporter. You know, she's almost like, I'm Lewis Lane. I was like, I know you ain't there yet, but she's like, I'm a
Honestly,
reporter. I did some digging around.
she
Okay.
said that line, and I just looked up. I was like, "Get the f out of here! You ain't that good."
Yeah. But I mean, at least she flexed some muscles. She's like, "Look, I ain't gonna buy your stuff without doing some background checks myself, you know." So I like that fact. I like at least every episode that they throw Iris in. She isn't just there for stupidity, you know. It's like she's got
It
something.
used to be Caitlyn's taking over that role.
Yeah, Caitlyn right now is getting dumbed down a little bit, but yeah, it was cool watching, the villain of the week, and that was more to show that, hey, don't judge a book by its cover. That was like the moral of the episode, because Caitlyn was like, oh, this is a smart guy, and then in my mind I'm going, you don't want two smart guys like that going at the same time. The reason why your boyfriend worked was because he's smart, but he also thought like a different way. Unlike the professor, the professor is like is it's like saying the professor and Cisco fusing together. They have the same mindset to a certain degree.
So it won't work.
Yeah, it won't work. So that's why I
Right.
was like, yeah, I love the dynamic they did there.
The way one of my friends broke it down was because I honestly didn't catch it, but Ronnie was the muscle,
Yeah.
Professor Stein was the brain,
Hmm.
and Hewitt was the brain and Stein the brain. That's why they didn't mesh.
That's yeah.
And then I looked at it from the perspective of Caitlin was, oh, Ronnie was also a scientist, so he's a scientist, so he has to be compatible.
Yeah, she looked at
So
it
she was one sided as far
as
as
yeah, exactly.
scientists versus with scientists. That's why it worked so
Yeah,
great.
she didn't realize that also again it's not even that too, and it makes sense like your buddy says because whenever you do the Firestorm Matrix come together, it's whoever had the younger, fitter body was Firestorm. So it was Ronnie was Firestorm in physical form. Professor was in his head. Same thing with the kid, especially this guy is much younger, like straight out of high school, you know. So he's also in tip-top condition altogether. I mean, his Achilles is fine now because once he feeds the fire stuff, that shit don't matter. So I mean, I agree with you. It was a very good episode, and it didn't focus too much on the Flash, which was cool, except to the end. The special effects for Shark actually looked pretty good.
You know you love that Street Shark.
No, I said this. Yeah, the special effects actually, I was surprised. I was like,
Took you back to that cartoon Street Sharks.
Shark. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this actually looks good. And then, of course, he was saved by
Harrison
Harrison
Wells.
House of Wells, who will find out that who tell him that you Barry Allen are Zoom.
That's my running theory.
Yeah,
And then we also came up with maybe the King Shark is his Gorilla Grodd in Earth 2.
probably.
But the effects with that were awesome.
Yeah, I was like, but because it was such a short scene, you could put in a lot of effects and then be done. So it was
But
definitely a good episode
it was a great episode. And then the only other thing we have, the one issue was like, how the hell does a 15-foot shark walk around town and not get noticed?
because he eat everybody up.
And then, and then, how the hell did he sneak up? Dude, is Barry that naive and stupid sometimes that everybody sneaks up on him?
The problem with Barry is that they don't use Barry the way he uses in the comic book. So somebody I had a discussion with my buddy. I was like, well, Flash doesn't have super hearing or he doesn't hear like Superman. So that doesn't there. His
I didn't
body,
get that.
yeah, he does not have any of that. The difference is that Barry, when he's the Flash, especially when he wears the costume, he never stands still.
And this one does.
Yeah, he goes zip 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 zip. He always does like a circle in like a square format, or at least he goes around you. So like when he's if the girl's there, but I mean Barry was his human form, so he had to no, he was the Flash, right?
He was the
Yeah,
Flash.
so he has the Flash. He just zips around. He actually does in the comics, in the cartoon. He's like zip 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 zip. That's his own way of like basically just making sure that he's got everything
Nothing's around him.
everything's around. So, but again, as a TV show, you gotta.
You take the good with the bad. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean King Shark looked great. Now let's move on to the new Arrow Cave 3.0.
3.0, yes, K 3.0 with Arrow. This is again improving episode. I liked the fact that the police task force was kind of even matching. It was almost like I mean, to put it this way, the lady who played the cop, the head of
Lady Cop.
Lady Cop task force, I can see her in more shows Because I mean, like, even though she had small scenes, she had enough presence where I believed that she could boss around all those guys.
Oh yeah, she felt her presence. Oh, you want to put it to the vote? How about a 9 millimeter vote?
But exactly.
I believe that. I was like,
Yeah, she
that's
did it. She did it, and it wasn't one of those like cheesy CW like it's a 9 millimeter. Like she was just like, I'm not even messing around. So I liked her character, even though it was just really small. Um, Laurel doing her stupidity of taking the
oh,
sister and all that stuff.
get me started on her.
Um, I understand Laurel has to be, and I didn't get that. Like what I didn't get from Laurel is that she sometimes has the foolishness. So she's using her siren thing. It didn't work. She didn't figure to switch out. That's something they need to change in Arrow. The only person who does change is Arrow himself. Like he fired a couple of arrows at people, and he just automatic. It's almost like they say, okay, he's the veteran, so he's the one that if shit don't work, he will adapt. Everybody else,
Yeah, but the, the issues that I've been having so far with this season, and I guess it makes good sense, is the fact that when he took his little 6 months off to go make eggs in a slow cooker and souffles and all this other shit,
yeah.
he's rusty as hell.
Hmm.
Because there's no way in hell Lady Cop should have ever got the upper hand on him with the knife from behind. He was always 10 steps ahead of you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was rusty, and I give it a little bit of that, but also give it more to the fact that he and Lance, like, he really felt betrayed by Lance in this
Oh, yeah.
episode. So
That,
I think that's why his attention really wasn't on Lady Cop in that aspect, because for him Lance was like, Lance was the guy he was always trying to make up to, because he thought he killed Sarah, all that stuff, and then also this is he's kind of screwed both his daughters, so. That's the kind of thing where you don't want to mess with the guy. When you find out, oh, he's playing around with Damien Dark, you're like, what the fuck? Really?
yep.
So, I mean, for him, he was like, seriously, like, you're the one who just inspired me to go be to run for mayor. And then in the back, I see you going like, hey, man, what's up, though?
It was a casual talk with David A. My daughter needs help. Put her down.
I love that. I mean, like, I like now how they're using Damien Dark and we don't get the full, which is fine because you need to build more of his mystique up, and not like Raj, where I mean, already Damien Dark to me, I feel more threatened by Dark than I felt by Raj.
I'm
I mean,
sorry. Season three's villain, it felt like a throwaway.
yeah, I mean, like
They
at first I was just threatened because it was Raj Al Ghul. We all know the name as comic book fans, and then you now start watching, you're like, hmm, never mind, it's
even
okay.
Christopher Nolan's Ra's al Ghul felt terrifying.
Oh yeah, of course.
This one is, it was upsetting.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. So I see them righting the wrongs now. They do that slow input. Make sure you build it up right. Teasing his powers once in a while, where he just does a little time
That
freeze.
first episode where he just stopped the arrows with his hand and then sucked the guy's life force out of him,
Out
I
of it.
was like, okay, this is a dude you don't want to mess with.
I even like the one where he killed the lady last
With
episode.
the card!
The card, he's like, no, this is a test for you. Now go do the shit I told you to do.
Oh, dude, I saw that last. I was like, oh, this is dark for Arrow.
Yeah, he's like this. Zzz, zzz, zzz. So yeah, it was good to see that. I like the improvements. The fight scenes also looked a little cleaner this episode. A little better than what it was. So I just
I
hope.
brought this up earlier. I go, we've already seen, they've established in trailers for future episodes that Laurel and Sarah will be fighting back to back. Why can't they just send Laurel to the damn Legends of Tomorrow crew?
No, because but you see, oh, you've noticed, right, how they've built up everybody for Legends of Tomorrow. We've got
Yeah, little.
Professor Steinbach. Next week we're getting Hawk Girl
Uh huh.
on Flash, right?
Yep.
Um, also, Adam is coming back because now that she's decoded that message, you're gonna find some clues that he just shrunk down really tiny. That's pretty much
Yeah.
it.
My theory is he should be back probably by the mid-season finale.
Exactly. So they're setting everybody up for that, and you need Sarah in that. You need like a really strong female character, which people know, rather because Hawk Girl is going to be hit or miss. You know, you don't know how that's going to play. But we all liked most people liked the way Sarah was. So you're like, if you take that over, you
Yeah,
know
you know
that
it's a hit,
is going to
but
be exactly. And I like the
just take
fact
the
that
Hawk.
I mean I want to know how he met Constantine. That's what I want to know.
The problems we probably won't really get much backstory into that.
I know, because because the trailer you see him is like, I need your help. I was like, where the hell did you meet John? Okay, I know where they're gonna do it. It's true. Yes. Remember when he said he went back on the island? He says he knows what um
He saw a lot of
the stuff.
mystical
Yeah, he
things.
said Damien Dark stuff is not. That's not metahumans. I know what that shit is. That's not it. So I think either he was doing a mission out there or he stumbled upon what's his name Constantine while he was trying to fight some demon or whatever the case was. You
See,
know.
I bet you all fans would agree. At least a two-story arc with Constantine would have been great.
Yeah, it would have been.
You know, some explanation, dialogue. Okay, this is what we got to do, and then in the second episode, they heal Sarah. A little more talking. He breaks down some more
Mhm.
stuff for them, and he takes off.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's just the way because the property is hanging in the air so much. They
Well,
really
not
can't.
anymore because El Rey bought the rights.
Yeah, but
The question,
they're not doing anything with it. That's why.
just yet,
Yeah.
we don't know yet.
So I think for them it's more like we got to do something. We got to put it so that at least it works instead of because if we had more time, we could do it like like a flash thing where we can extend it a little bit more. But we don't have the opportunity to do that. So that's that. And then Heroes.
I actually like this episode.
Yeah, I would agree too. A better episode this week, and I was like, finally. So this is the reason why. If you had started somewhere like episode 2 or 3, understanding that Nathan, aka boy who teleports, and girl who heals the world, are both
Claire's
Claire's
babies.
babies who Hero sent in the past to survive, that's actually a brilliant idea by the dad. He's like, and he was like, nah, I don't. I was like, yeah. That's why he's the paper man. The man knows how to set up his plans for what he does. Except of course he screwed himself over when he he was about to shoot.
Well, it ended great. It's
Yeah.
like, I was like, oh shit, I
Yeah.
gotta wait another week.
Yeah, so it was much better. I don't think it's gonna save the series because it just felt too long to get there. Um, but I did like the episode. It was a really good episode combined. I mean, even from last week where you could see it was getting better, especially when she saved what's his name, Chuck.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she
pull
saved
them
Chuck.
out the water.
Yeah, pull him out the water, and then Chuck now realized that, oh shit, I guess everything's connected because I try to kill this kid who is her brother, but she doesn't know that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, So I mean, it was good. So I mean, how are they both going to save the world? So is he going to teleport all the Earth to some other place?
you know what? That's a interesting theory. What if she controls the
Nature.
stars? She does some shit up there, and then he can teleport. So what if he puts his hands on the planet and uses his power to manipulate everything with Hito, and the beam just goes through the Earth, and that's how they save the planet.
I mean, it could
I
be.
mean, there's a lot of
Yeah, we'll,
kooky
we'll we'll
shit.
see. I mean, but that's the thing. Like, they should have brought that a little earlier. I think it would have if this was episode 3 instead of
Six.
episode 6 or 7, whatever it is. I think a lot more people have caught on. So that's where it is. But hey, it is what it is. Well, thank you very much, man, for joining this like hodgepodge show. It's gonna be up hopefully in an hour. It's like 45 minutes. I have to render a 45-minute video. That's gonna be fun.
Hey,
Um, Yeah, but yeah, join us next week. Next week we should be back live, and we should be back also live on the weekly. Thank you very much, Lou, for joining us. If you
problem.
want to follow Lou on Instagram, not Instagram, sorry, Twitter.
Twitter.
Yes, what's your Twitter handle?
Mr. underscore Rod underscore.
All right, and of course it's Border Work. Thank you very much, and always enjoy your entertainment.